Guys, daily already lots of people have jumped on and they're tweeting about this Lagos paternity leave. I think they love it. But read the story first.
Man
Just
will
know
be man.
what that is about. Well, it's still in Bayelsa State. We're coming to you live from Yenagoa. And is this the maiden edition, actually, of this Economic and Investment Forum, which that's where we're coming to you live from. We're joined this morning by retired Colonel Bernard Kenebai, who is the Special Advisor to the Governor on Security. Morning, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, yes, he's spoken about, because security really is important in this part, because if you have to attract investment, I mean, I always say that capital is a coward, it flees when it's threatened. But now, tell us, how can we say that security has been properly handled, or maybe you should tell us, how was it handled to the extent that people have confidence saying, look, if I invest here, I could go to sleep?
Thank you very well. You put it rightly. Security is actually the foundation of everything. That's why in the laws of human need, security ranks very high. Of course, without security, you appreciate the fact that no one would want to visit. No one would even want to go into marriage. Like you said, Lagos was just talking about paternity leave. Without security, of course, you won't go into all of that contracts. So security is fundamental to every other thing being in place. Of course, have we handled issues of security well? Absolutely so. Coming into government by His Excellency, he inherited a myriad of problems, security problems, as it were. And through leadership, legislation, acquisitions, trainings, welfare to security agencies, motivating them to perform. We have the stable environment we have in Bayelsa today, so much so that investors, tourists, and other visitors can actually come into Bayelsa to do business and to live. So we've done well in that area of security, and that much His Excellency stated yesterday.
Is there any way that you get the pulse of the people? Because, I mean, one is always careful about how you make comments, categorical comments on social matters, because these things are fleeting. They could just change. Do you feel the pulse of the people out there in terms of those who are maybe engaged in one vice or the other? And what are they doing now? What do they feel about what's going on now? Are they satisfied, or are they still saying, I'm just watching and waiting?
Absolutely so. We get the pulse. We get the feedback from the people. That much has been established by way of even the local and international recognition to the efforts of the state government. That was manifest last year when His Excellency was given an international award as being the best security governor in West Africa. And now his visionary product, being a special task force on security to stabilize things when we came in, was also given the award of the best crime-busting squad in West Africa. That tells you recognition from our side. And of course, before this was given, the organizers came into Bayelsa State and did a survey, interacting with the people in the street to get their feedback. And it was based on that. They scored us. And of course, in every other place, it's been reported that Bayelsa is one of the safest states.
Did they give you maybe the questionnaire to see the poll, the results, and all of this?
I didn't have to go into that, but I know that it was professionally done because an organization of international repute, and we trust in the ability to do that which they're doing. Of course, this is not the first time they've been doing it. Yes, best crime-busting squad.
You know, when we talk about crime busters now, tell us how it works in your state. The people of the state, what's their contribution like? How do they get to inform you when such is taking place for you to nip it in the bud?
Of course, there's this strong synergy between the people and the statutory security organizations operating here. First and foremost, we had to win their confidence. Before we came in, of course, there was this lack of confidence in the ability of the security agencies to really carry out the duties. in so much so that there were brazen acts even in the street by gangs and call groups. So we, of course, brought them into the security architecture because there's nothing you can do without their cooperation. They must cooperate with you by way of intelligence to you and, of course, swift reporting to enable you to respond.
You have an emergency?
We have a coordination center that does that, that works 24 hours, 24/7, that can record a call, a distress call, and within 3 minutes, 2 minutes, in some cases, less than 1 minute, respond to that situation. And of course, the people are happy because it is something that they have never experienced before. For here, we talk about the paradigm shift in Bayelsa as regards security deliveries. We think that rather than you coming to seek for security services, we take security to the doorsteps of the citizenry.
Pardon me to jump in here.
Yeah.
You talk about paradigm shift.
Yeah.
What is going on? What is the situation with the militants? I mean, these are people who do a lot of money. So what's going on with them now?
Of course, they've been brought into the equation. Hitherto, of course, we inherited all of that. And His Excellency, the Governor, is one that pulls people together. And through good leadership, he's been able to convince the populace, including the ex-militants, that he's here to serve them. He's not here to boss over anybody.
Yeah, but you have
based on that, of course, their cooperation is there. And of course, we consider that nobody is bigger than the law, so we ensure that we enforce it to the latter. There's a red line. If you cross it, of course, regardless of who you are, we make sure the law enforcement agents are empowered to come after you and ensure that that's done.
Sorry, Jamila, I still want to stay on the emergency number because if we say crime busting, I might not remember the movie Ghostbusters and the response time of Ghostbusters. Now I'm talking about crime busters. What's the emergency number for Bayelsans that they've been able to access? We're trying to look at this so that maybe other states that are in dire need of such can actually copy. Do you have a toll-free line for an average Bayelsan to pick up his or her phone and place a call to those? Because you said in less than a minute sometimes they come to the scene.
Absolutely. We have a number. We have a number that's functioning. It's meant to be toll-free, but we're working on those details. And we'll soon be done with it. But for now, we try to do reverse calls in such a way that there are numbers available. The call center is published to the citizenry, and of course, they have it. So once you have an issue, you just call that number, and it's actually one number that's masking quite a number of other numbers. So at any point in time, it's free. It can take at the same time 10 different callers. Yes, it can do that.
Simultaneously?
Absolutely. So, of course, just yesterday, His Excellency, the Vice President, when he came, that was the first port of call. He came in with the governor and we showed him the facilities there. He was amazed at what this governor have put in place because he understands the dynamics and the imperative of security to every other thing.
Sorry, is this tied to the police or even the military?
Yeah,
or you have your own security apparatus here in
No. It's, of course, we can't have our own security apparatus. We would utilize what is available. That's why I said the statutory security agencies deployed to Bayelsa State. Of course, the addition to that is the Special Task Force, Operation Darkball. Asset acquisition for them to operate, and of course, the welfare package. They are good. They have gone out, our police have gone out and done very well, beating other contingents in performance. So why can't they do it here? But of course, we have the challenges. I believe very strongly, because I'm a product of the system as well, of perhaps assets. And of course, those are issues of resources. In an environment of so much of competing demands, you don't expect that everything you require will be provided. But of course, we ask for prudence in management so that you can give value back to the people you're serving by whatever. If you're not faithful with little things, you can't also be faithful with big things.
Would you kindly shed a little more light on your handling of the cult groups? Because we do know that at some point, the cult groups, you did say that, you know, at some point you had gangs and, you know, cultism was also rife. In some cases, you perpetuated kidnappings and what have you.
Absolutely.
How are you able to put them under control?
Yeah, very well. That's, again, something new. When His Excellency came in, of course, he came with a backdrop of experience. He's a trained detective in the police. As a lawyer, he was the Attorney General, a lawmaker at the federal level, and now governor. So with all of that, a gamut of experience, he came in and, of course, came up with this legislation against cult groups. So cultism was outrightly abrogated there. So based on that, many people, of course, there was a provision made for them to come up and renounce. Of course, because it's something that can be prosecuted, but you needed to make provision for escape. So, of course, that was made for them to renounce. And based on that, that opportunity was given to them, and quite a number of them have come out. They know that they can't beat the security agencies because of the improved level of performance. So they know they can't beat the security agencies, and of course, they felt that, and having encouraged them to come up, of course, they have come to renounce quite a number of them, well over 10,000 in their midst. And so all of that have been put down. Of course, the isolated cases are there, but we deal with them as they come up.
Moving from security now, you do know that not everyone will comply with the law. So when you do catch some of these people, how do you make examples of them? Tell us your synergy with the courts.
We're people that go by the rule of law. There is legislation, okay, based on which, if anybody is apprehended for that, of course, the right thing to do is to go through the process of prosecution. And that much is done. And if you're convicted, of course, you confine someone. And of course, understanding that dynamics, when we came into government, Bayelsa State as a whole didn't have any functioning prison. So based on that, in the security chain, you needed a holding place for criminals who are convicted, based on which His Excellency went into complete the Yenagua prisons, which is now operational. So with all of that provided, of course, dealt with as provided for by the law.